Hi everybody, I'm Julia, one of the reference librarians at McAllen Public Library.
Today's ebook recommendation is Gateway to the Moon by Mary Morris. Despite what the title sounds like, this is actually not a science fiction book. It's a historical fiction novel that jumps between modern-day northern New Mexico and Spain and the Spanish colonies in the 1500s. It's the story of a crypto-Jewish family that escaped the Spanish Inquisition in the 1500s and eventually settled in northern New Mexico, where their descendants stayed and still live to the modern day. This is a fascinating novel because it focuses on a community that has been overlooked for most of U.S. history, but in recent years has gotten more attention and scholarly research. There are lots of families and communities in the Southwest and even here in South Texas that are actually descended from Jewish families that escaped Spain during the Spanish Inquisition and eventually settled in the remote northern areas of the Spanish colonies where they could escape persecution. After generations and generations and hundreds of years of having to keep their faith a secret, many of these families eventually forgot their Jewish heritage. But what's fascinating is that many customs still persist, like lighting candles on Fridays and not eating pork. It's only with recent scholarly research and digitization of genealogy archives that many families in these communities are beginning to learn their true origins that had been hidden for hundreds of years. I'm not a historian, but I find all of this fascinating, and it provides the context for the plot of the novel. I haven't actually finished it yet, so I can't tell you what happens, but this is an engrossing and magical novel that will really draw you in. The setting is northern New Mexico around Santa Fe, which I've been lucky enough to visit a few times, and it's a beautiful part of the country. Now, I normally don't like novels with a lot of description. I usually think they're boring and prefer novels that are more action-driven. But I love the descriptions in this novel. It really transports you to northern New Mexico so that you can almost smell the desert rain, the piñon smoke, and the roasted chiles. This is a beautiful part of the country, but it's also full of stark contrasts and economic disparity. The cost of living is very high, but wages are very low, which also helps form the context for the modern-day portions of the novel. Although the characters in the novel are from families that have lived there for hundreds of years, the economic reality is that they can barely afford to live there now. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, but this is a beautiful novel and I highly recommend it. Although northern New Mexico is hundreds of miles away from South Texas, we share a lot of our history and have many cultural similarities. I think that lots of people from here will be able to identify with this novel. It's available on our Overdrive and Libby apps or online at the link below.
This was Julia, and thank you for watching. Be sure to follow MPL Adults on Facebook and McAllen Public Library on YouTube, and don't miss any of our virtual programs.